This is a question that I'm asked literally every single day. To me, Chinese regional cooking is the most interesting cooking there is. It's the most diverse and historical food culture on the planet. It's never-ending inspiration. It's so much fun as an eater. It's so much fun as a cook and a chef. It started for me really with my family. We would go out for quote-unquote Chinese food, which at the time made sense to me. Now, saying I'm going out for Chinese food is the equivalent of saying I'm going out for American food, right? Like Sichuan food versus Cantonese food versus Shaanxi food, they're completely different palates. Once I discovered that, it was a rabbit hole that I went down that I never returned from.
People ask me that a lot, the difference between Mimi and SUNNYS. The style at SUNNYS is definitely more simple.
Simplicity, you know, we're not trying to reinvent anything here.
We want our food to be simple and to the point, but still impactful. And the food at Mimi is, I'd say, more elegant. You know, everything has to be perfect.
Mimi is definitely about nostalgia in a big way. It's about old school hospitality for sure as well. My name is David Schwartz. I'm the culinary and creative director of SUNNYS Chinese and Mimi Chinese. I am 32 years old.
My name is Braden. I'm a partner at SUNNYS Chinese and the executive chef of both restaurants, Mimi and SUNNYS Chinese. I'm 29 years old, turning 30 this year, and where should we start? David told me he wanted to open a Chinese restaurant. It must have been 7-8 years ago, maybe even when we first met.
Yeah, originally, I think he thought I was very stupid, or crazy rather.
Thought he was crazy. It was like, there's no chance you're doing this. You're a white Jewish dude. You're gonna try to open a Chinese restaurant in Toronto. Not happening.
The husband and wife beef, one of the dishes on the menu here that will never leave if I have anything to do with it. It's one of my favorite Sichuan dishes in general. Relatively speaking, it has pretty modern roots, which in Chinese food culture means 100 years instead of 1,000. Traditionally, it's like always 3 cuts minimum. So we use beef shank, beef tendon, and beef tripe.
Now the stuff is ready to go into master stock here. Some rock sugar, some dried chilies, and some scallion.
And probably didn't believe me. I mean, cooks say things all the time. I'm gonna open this restaurant, I'm gonna do this.
2 years later, he's like, I still want to open a restaurant. Okay, fine. 2 more years later, I still want to open a restaurant and here's my business plan. Oh, okay, like he's really trying. Like at that point, I knew he was serious.
And I remember very specifically where I was when I called him and I said, okay, I want you to come and do this with me.
While I was working in Japan, I remember being in my house or like apartment, just lying on my bed because I was so tired from work. And I just like looking at this menu and this blueprints of a floor plan, and I was like, damn, this is a real restaurant, this is happening.
He said, okay, we'll do it. Let me know when we're closer to.
As a friend, you know, I want to help him be successful. I want his restaurant to go well.
And then I did. I called him just right before everything kind of shut down, and I said, you come home now. This is a dish that I think on paper, a lot of people who aren't familiar with it expect it to be hot. It's cold. So you can see this is the shank now that's been chilled in the master stock. I'm gonna pull one of these out, I'm gonna give it a little rinse, I'm gonna slice it, and then we're gonna toss it with everything else. You can see how even though it cooked for so long, it's still like this pink color inside. That's what you're going for. First things first, I'm gonna throw the shank in, add a little tendon. The tendon and the tripe have been cut. Tiny bit of garlic, Chinese celery, a little bit of our Sichuan oil, a little salt, sugar, MSG. This is the aged Shaanxi vinegar. This is the master stock that we cook the beef in. One of my favorite parts about Chinese food in general are the varying textures. You get 3 different beef textures. The shank is one texture, the tripe has its own texture, the tendon has its own texture. You know, you get the bounce, you get a little chew, you get a little braised meat, you get a little crunch from the peanut, and then you get the mouthfeel from the oil, the mala from the Sichuan peppercorn, and then the spice from the ground chili. Braden and I met working together at Dilo. We actually didn't work together all that long there, but we instantly connected largely around the fact that we loved to go out and eat.
Specifically Chinese food after work. So we would go out at like, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. to Chinatown.
And when I left, he stayed there for a bit longer.
I remember there'd be times where David would just text me out of the blue, like randomly, like we haven't talked in a few months, and he'd be like, hey, let's go get food. And I'd be like, okay, sure. So he was always initiating the get-togethers.
Yeah, it's a very one-sided relationship.
We were always talking about different cooking techniques, trying to learn new things.
The eating friendship bloomed into like a full throttle friendship. I think that sounds weird. It's like, let's pull that back. It's like, it's not a romantic relationship.
That's kind of how our eating relationship and our friendship kind of started. The texture is a little bit bouncy, chewy, even slippery, and it's not something you typically get from a lot of noodle dishes because of the wheat starch texture is very unique.
Today we're gonna make a silver needle noodle, one of my favorite dishes on the menu right now. This dish is simple in terms of ingredients, and a lot of the flavor comes from the wok itself, quintessential wok hay flavor. Working on the woks is probably the most fun part about working in a kitchen like this. First, you want to heat up your wok really hot, and then you're going to flush the oil around the wok. And what happens is you're kind of creating a non-stick surface. So here we're putting some egg into the oil, and as you can see, non-stick. The egg cooks in a couple seconds, and that's it.
So the name SUNNYS is more of like an inside joke. If you knew, you knew kind of things. Going back to how Dave and I used to eat out.
One of the places we would go to was House of Gourmet. There was a manager there.
His name was Sunny. As soon as you walk in the door, he would remember us and he'd be like, hey, young man, or whatever. He was just like that charismatic guy that you always remember and you want to go back and see.
I don't know where he is now. I don't think he knows that we named our restaurant after him. But that was totally Braden's idea, and I loved it, and we ran with it.
So now we're gonna cook our noodles. So as you can see, like, they took on a little color, and all that smoke is like flavor. I'll take my noodles out, hot wok, turn it off, put a little bit of oil in, and all your vegetables. At this point, you'll want to lightly season. We'll add our noodles and our egg back. Give it a little mix. A little bit more oil. Turn off the heat. Turn it back on. Some cooking wine. And you want to add the soy sauce to the rim of the wok so that it sears and it caramelizes. Just a little bit of sweet soy. If you add the sweet soy too early, the sugars will burn. And by tossing the food in the fire, you're getting that classic wok hay flavor. And then we're done.
Cool contrast of textures where the onions are crispy and light, and the egg is soft, and the silver needle is chewy. And
The char siu is like very traditional. It takes a few days, it gets cured and then marinated, steam roasted, and then a final roast.
So these soybeans are braised in soy sauce and sugar. They're kind of like candied soybeans. Take our char siu off the rack. We always discard this first little bit. Usually it's a little too fatty. We'll chop it up.
It's like a constant balance between being too sweet and not too sweet, and glazed properly and cooked properly. It's definitely a tough one. It's a labor of love, but it's one of my favorite things on the menu there.
Our house char siu, pork belly, wildflower honey, caramelized soybeans.
one of my favorite dishes, we actually don't have it on the menu full time. We do it as a feature every now and then at Mimi. It's the Cantonese style crispy skin roast chicken.
We start with a Rhode Island red chicken. First, we're gonna start by cutting this chicken down the middle in half. And then through here, we're just gonna go on one side of the neck. And then you can see the color of the fat. You know, grocery store chickens, you get really bleach white fat, but the yellow fat is like extra flavor and the meat is more flavorful, tastes more like chicken. So here we have a quick brine. It's salt, sugar, 5-spice powder, fennel. Into the fridge and we'll see it overnight.
A lot of people don't realize that Mimi actually predated SUNNYS. Mimi, we were supposed to open in April 2020.
Before we actually did our pop-ups, we actually had the space for Mimi, and Dave had already come up with the concept.
Kind of this old school American Cantonese meets casino / James Bond aesthetic. There's all this red velvet everywhere.
And we had this restaurant and it was empty because of the pandemic.
All right, so now we have our chicken, and you can see some of the blood has come out. Chicken soaked up a little bit of the brine. We'll just boil some water. By pouring hot water on the skin, you're tightening the skin. It's going to cook the skin a little bit. So as you can see, even with just 2 spoons, it really tightens up. Season the inside of the cavity. So now we're spraying this skin with a vinegar and maltose glaze. And the vinegar and maltose is going to dry out on the skin and create this kind of like glass skin. We're gonna put these right here. We actually have a box fan right here to dry out the skin. And then we're gonna air dry this for 2 days.
I think the SUNNYS pop-up became so popular because we were offering an experience to people at a time when you couldn't get any experiences.
People were stuck at home and they wanted to support, you know, young cooks or chefs.
We had like these info cards that we would write and we would package it up nicely, and you had to order online. We would sell them out in like a few minutes, which blew my mind every single time.
Food was good.
I hope so. I'd like to think, you know. people come to eat our food now still, so I'd hope this, or I'd like to say that it's good.
So now that the chicken's done cooking, we've cooked it low and slow, 300 Fahrenheit, till it's just cooked around 155, 160 Fahrenheit. So you actually want this to be like fully rested, close to room temperature. It should still be warm, but it shouldn't be raging hot because you don't want all those juices to come out. And really you're just gonna baste the chicken. The skin is starting to kind of pop and bubble up. This is like a very classic Cantonese technique to get this kind of like glass skin, where the skin looks like super shiny, but it's also thin and crispy and it breaks like glass. And it's really cool technique that took a lot of time to figure out how to do. So this is our ginger and scallion sauce. Very classic condiment for Chinese barbecue. I like to use 2 different knives for this because when we're plating it for the guests, we like to get really clean cuts through the chicken for just presentation. Looking at the chicken itself, you know, it's very unassuming, where, you know, it's a fried chicken, but understanding all the techniques and time that goes into it really makes you appreciate it once you actually eat it. And you bite into it and it's like crispy, juicy, flavorful. So this is our Cantonese crispy skin chicken.
You know, Toronto has probably the largest reference point for Chinese food outside of China, maybe Vancouver. The total package of what we do is a little bit different than all of the other Chinese spots which we love and eat at and inspire us. We've got a fully put together wine program and cocktail program. The style of the room and the style of service is a little bit different. But yeah, Mimi was the project that we were originally working on.
And once we were ready to actually open the restaurant, we opened Mimi, and for some people it was a surprise because people thought, you know, SUNNYS was the restaurant or SUNNYS was the concept, and they thought Mimi kind of popped out of thin air, but it was actually always the plan to open Mimi first. And then just through the success and the popularity of SUNNYS Takeout, we opened SUNNYS Chinese.
Under the night sky, gonna make my skin rise. Can it just be yours tonight? Do you believe in magic? Comes from the inside.
Big fire, hubby squid. On back in DC.
Magic.
K6, no shellfish. And man. 501, yeah. They fire another toast.
We'll just fade away. You're all I need. Can it just be us tonight? No one can see. Give you my trust tonight. It's yours to keep. Let's fall in love.
We call it like our daily soft serve.
It's a rotational soft serve on our menu.
We wanted to do a flavor that was not something you typically find at a soft serve shop, and we just want to do something seasonal, and it's kind of become iconic with the brand and the restaurant as like doing these Chinese flavors in a soft serve format. And it goes really well with our other dessert, which is also kind of become synonymous with SUNNYS Chinese, is our Hong Kong French toast.
That's never coming off the menu. It seems to be like everyone's favorite, so it's staying put.
It's our take on like a classic Hong Kong French toast, and it's very simple.
So we get bread from Blackbird Bakery down the road.
And we spread this black sesame jam in between 3 layers of toast. Then we dip it in a cream and eggs kind of batter. We deep fry it, and we pour a oolong condensed milk kind of cream on top. And then there's just like a nice little pat of butter. Just add to the luxuriousness.
One of the things that I'm most proud of that we built within our restaurant group is our team. We have an incredible team, and our restaurants, they never were about just me, and they certainly are not just about me now.
The team is the backbone of what we're doing here, and we couldn't do it without the team.
We couldn't do what we do without the team that we have, for sure.
Veg rice, lettuce. Top two. Veg rice. Very fired. Fire idea, slice cooked orange, hanger on back. Yeah. Rice, a tea egg, and an orange chicken. Also firing hubby and a squid. Let's go a rice, a squid, and a hubby to 13.
I'm not saying we're this. Maybe we'll be it one day, but I always loved the idea of restaurants that like incubate and foster talent and leave a legacy. You know, if people stay within your company forever, great. But if they leave and do their own thing, and they take some of what they learned with us so that they can do a better job down the road with what they're doing, I think that's awesome. There's so many restaurants that so many other great restaurants kind of offshoot out of because of what they do. So I hope that we can be even some semblance of that.
Hands, please. And the lettuce first. Okay, hanger, lamb fry. Hands, please. 501. Wait.
The Michelin stuff, you know, it's not, we don't chase it. It's not something that like we actively aim for. When I got that award last year, it was completely surprising to me. It was cool and it was exciting, but it was totally unexpected. Yeah, like I said, like these places aren't about me. Like that's an award that I share with our team for sure.
Hands, please.
And through all that, it's kind of shocking that we actually have 2 Chinese restaurants right now. We have both Mimi and SUNNYS, and we're opening a 3rd one in Miami actually, and it's in a completely different country, not even city. It's a new challenge, and I'm very excited to see how that turns out and what comes from it.
Yeah, like we're just about celebrating the food culture and exploring it, and we want people to feel similarly about regional Chinese cooking. We're obsessed with it, and we want other people to be as well if they're not already. So,
my long-term goal for the restaurants is to make sure that people want to still come here, whether it's 5 years or 10 years down the line. You know, we want to show off how special these places are. To any of the customers that come to dine at SUNNYS and Mimi, obviously we thank you very much.
What is this? The mother, father? This is really good.
We hope that, you know, through eating and drinking at our restaurants, you can see the amount of hard work that goes into this restaurant day in, day out. These guys, they work really hard and they care a lot, and that's really what we want to showcase through our food at the restaurants.
we appreciate every single person who comes in our door. I'm awestruck and just continually happy and excited to see people come in and like love what we do. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you guys for everything.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I love most about my job is I really love the curation, and to see those things that you think about and talk about for so long actually come to fruition and become real. Started working on... Hey, how are you?
My name?
Yeah?
David.
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, okay.
All right, thanks a lot. Okay. Having two restaurants is really difficult. So we decided that we should probably add a third one to torture ourselves. Okay, it looks good, finally. Okay, we're here at our new restaurant space. Doesn't look like much of a restaurant yet, but in a couple months that will come together really quickly. It's gonna be called SUNNYS. It's a steakhouse meets deli concept. Super excited to see this space become what I know it's about to become.